All right, it was originally going to be a much smaller panel, and then Seth said, you know what, to hell with it. Everybody on my plane, let's go. Hey, Seth.
Can I eat during this? They don't feed you here.
That's fine.
Okay, thanks.
I was going to ask you the first question. You want to wait to take
That's
a break?
fine. I'll open this afterwards.
All right, good. So what's your takeaway? The show aired. We did a season. Going into season 2, what were your big takeaways from what we did last year versus what we're going to try to do this year?
Well, for me, the nice thing, this show was a tonal experiment of sorts. Comedy and sci-fi, when you blend them together, don't always mix well. I think in features they do. In television, it's a little hard to sustain. So we were trying something kind of difficult. But the pleasant surprise for me was that the fans and the viewers were willing to let us tell a story. They weren't waiting for the next joke to come every 3 seconds. They allowed us to kind of be a sci-fi show, which was really, at the end of the day, what this is. I mean, the comedy in this show was always intended to sort of be a garnish. And the other thing that was very gratifying is, look, different stories call for different tones. If it's a lighter story, your tone is light. If it's a heavier story, your tone's going to be heavier. And life has different tones. Your every day is different, and some days are bad and others are good. And you know, that variance from episode to episode was embraced by the fans, and they really got it. And that was gratifying to see. And I think what you're going to see in season 2 is a show that is even more comfortable in its footing as far as existing in that Goldilocks zone.
You're doing long days on the bridge. Mm-hmm. The bridge is a tough set to shoot on. You got to shoot lots of angles. You guys do anything to kill the time, make it? Scotty, Jay, do you guys do anything to break the tension?
Specifically, Scotty and Jay, what do you do on the bridge?
Well, we're right at the front, right?
Yeah.
So we get our close-ups out of the way right away. So we have to sit there for 9 hours while you all do your things. We did come up with we'd do like a TV show called John and Gordon at the Helm.
Yeah, at the helm. You're at the helm with
I'm assuming it annoys everyone behind us, but...
Yeah.
And we're
like the host of like a morning show. And it's like, you're at the helm with John and
here
Gordon.
we are at the helm with John and Gordon. And we have a special guest today, John.
So we just try to keep the energy high. Cause
I've heard Seth on many occasions, just if we start that helm thing, you just under your breath, I hear you go, oh my God. Not again.
And then when he does that, I go, I think we have a question from the audience.
We have a question for Captain.
Caller, you're live.
Hi.
Hi.
My question's for the creative team. The Orville definitely feels like a love letter to the Star Trek universe, which we definitely appreciate as fans. But you can be a fan and know not everything was always perfect. And I'm wondering if any of you saw something in Star Trek that you wanted to fix, that you pulled over to the Orville.
I think the absence of a version of that kind of show that does what they used to do, something that's optimistic, bright, forward-thinking, episodic, that doesn't really exist right now. And so there's a space that's kind of been opened up for that kind of show to occupy, and I missed that kind of storytelling, and it was a void that I was trying to fill with this show. The thing that feels new to me about the way we handle this genre is that, there is a certain rigidity to most shows that take place on a spaceship. There's a certain operatic quality that just kind of goes hand in hand with that genre. And I had never really seen a show, I think that, the Next Generation kind of dealt with it to some degree, but a show that really kind of casualizes a lot of what goes on. Because in reality, if you were actually serving on a ship of this type, there'd be downtime where you're just kind of shooting and you're just kind of slacking off and being casual. And that's something I hadn't seen. And the attempt was to sort of give this very operatic genre a sort of Albert Brooks kind of grounded tone in a way that was a hybrid that I hadn't seen. And it took us a little bit to kind of find that balance, but I feel like we did.
Hi.
I was wondering about the episode Majority Rule, which bases everyone's life on social media, and where you got the inspiration for that, and what you think of China kind of going the same way.
You know, it's funny. I remember we wrote that episode the summer, I don't even know what, was it 2 years ago?
I don't know.
And we thought we were all innovative, and then like 5 months later, the Black Mirror episode comes out while we're still shooting. We're like, everybody's going to think we're... But it's clearly a common concern, given the fact that two shows, you know, touched on this independently. So I think it's, you know, look, it's incredibly creepy. I mean, I think there are good things about social media and Twitter. I think there are certain groups that we've seen a speediness of acceptance for certain marginalized groups that I think without the unification of social media would have taken a lot longer than it has. And so I think that's the positive side of social media. The downside is it can become a mob very quickly, and oftentimes does. You know, you got to look up the Justine Sacco case, and that's a perfect example. But yeah, I think it's very creepy. I think that's, you know, we're not evolved enough as a species yet to not fall into the, to not succumb to the rush of joining a group that is ganging up on another group or individual. There's like a weird rush that gives a lot of people when they become part of a mob. And so I think it's too soon for us to independently govern ourselves in the way that social media attempts to.
We've seen that the characters on the Orville have watched Seinfeld. So if Seinfeld exists in the Orville, and they've made references to Star Trek on Seinfeld, does that mean that the Star Trek TV series exists?
Somebody please escort this.
Hey.
We want the skull back.
Yeah.
It's a
dilly.
It's a very good question, and it's one I thought about when we were writing episode 3, when Claire says, "I'll be your Obi-Wan," and I don't think there's any way to answer that would be satisfying to anybody.
That's why I asked it.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You guys are great.
After football, December 30th, the Orville, second season.
Wait, before you click away, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel. It means a lot to me. Well, not really, but it means a lot to someone, I'm sure. Also, if you like what you just watched, you can see even more content on the Fox Now app. Don't say I ever gave you nothing.